And we're going to start recording, and I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully if all's good, you can see.
Yeah.
We're good? We're in business?
Yeah.
Excellent. All righty. So if I'm right, you're new to DocMan, right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the one thing we haven't covered.
All right, okay. So there's two ways to get to Doc Manager, and the easiest way to do it is from right here on the left sidebar. You'll see that option for Document Manager there.
Yes, right there. Okay.
Excellent. So I'm going to click on that. And let's get some toolbars here, free up the desktop a bit. There we go. Okay, so this is the interface where you manage documents that live in the site. Specifically, in this case, let's talk about the hearings page.
Okay.
So let's just go take a look at the public hearing on the front end. So let me click in here now. Oops, this is linked to an article, okay? And we've set up the article to do some special stuff with DocMan. DocMan doesn't actually render front-end content quite like this.
Okay.
It has its own way of doing it, but we find that a lot of people like this more condensed layout, where people can sort of like collapse nodes and open nodes. But you don't have to worry about the article that creates this.
Okay.
Okay, all you need to worry about is what happens in the back end in DocMan. So, how does this work? DocMan is a tool that lets you upload files and create document pointers that point to the file. And the documents, over on the left-hand side here, we'll see files. You'll also see categories. Categories correspond to things like notice of hearing or proposal for decision.
Okay.
Like folders, basically.
Yeah.
So we've got our files, we've got our folders, and then we've got our what we'll call our meta information about a file. Okay, a file by itself might just be like something like something .pdf, right?
Right.
File.pdf doesn't tell us who's allowed to access it or how many times it's been downloaded. It's just a file name.
Okay.
So when we use DocMan, we have to upload files to the server, and then from there we create a document container that points to that file.
Okay.
Now, the nice thing about being able to do that is you can create multiple document containers, document pointers that point to the same file. So that means you can have the same file appear in a bunch of different categories, and if you delete it out of one category, you don't delete it out of all the others, which might be desirable depending on how you want to put documents up, right? Like on the front end, let's just say that you had to have like something called a disclaimer, and you need a disclaimer to appear in every single category by some legal reason.
Mm-hmm.
But the disclaimer is the same in every single folder. It really sucks if you had to upload that file 20 times if you had 20 categories or folders, right? So what you can do is you can create multiple document pointers that point to the same file, and then you put each document in each category. That doesn't make sense yet. It will probably by the time we get in here a bit more. So, files. So we're going to click on the Files tab button here, or link, and the page is going to refresh.
Okay.
And what we're going to see is some folders. Now, these are actual physical folders on the server, just like you would see folders on your computer.
Okay.
Okay. And there's no requirement to use folders in DocMan on the server, except for the fact that it happens to be helpful for humans to group files together so we know where all our files are.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we have a variety of different file folders in here, and one of them is called public.
Public, okay.
And in public, these are where all the files that are kind of publicly available appear. If we scroll all the way down here, somewhere down here, we're going to find one called Public Hearings Registry.
Okay.
There it is. So I'm going to pop open the Public Hearings Registry, and then I see 2016. And this was set up in the anticipation that this wasn't the only year there would be a public hearing.
Yes.
We figured in the future there may be more. And in fact, if we open up 2016, the assumption is there could be multiple hearings in 2016. Yeah. So therefore, we created a folder for the Blue Nose East.
Okay.
And if I open up Blue Nose East, we created folders to contain the various sort of groupings of files. And again, this is all just to help us organize things so that if I want to go and find all the files that are related to the notice of hearing, I can click on this, and I'm going to see the whole one file that's related to that.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little messed up just because I think my screen's so small, so we'll go over here. It's kind of funky, maybe because the titles are so long in here. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to be worried about what we see here. It's more what we see in this list here that counts. So when I make proposals for decision, I see all the files that are part of proposals for decision. Same thing with relevant documents if there's anything. These are all files, all right? And so if I click on one of these files, the only thing that can happen is I can view the size, the data was modified, and I could download it. That's all I can do with a file. Okay? Doesn't tell me where in the category structure things are. So it does inside folders on the server, but folders on the server are not categories.
Okay.
Okay? So what we do then is, let's just say we had a new file. And I don't know if we have a new file. Do we have a new file?
I don't know of one. Katarina's been putting up the files.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. So if she's putting up files, are you putting up files or you're not putting up files?
I'm not. I think the only thing that Deb wanted me to do was be able to add that field that has a brief description of it.
Perfect. Okay. So then maybe we'll hone in on that piece so that I don't have to overwhelm you. If you're not uploading files, there's no point to go through the whole process of uploading files and whatnot. But the little background is kind of helpful anyway. It doesn't hurt. So let's just quickly click on categories. And again, there's really no need to work on categories either because you're going to be working with the documents. But you'll see categories also have a hierarchy defined by the folks at
Categories have a which? Sorry?
Have a hierarchy. You'll see categories and then you'll see folders, and we can open these. Whoops. Maybe I can. Okay, just like in files, I can open these up and close them.
Okay.
But again, I don't even need to worry about that because the only thing you're going to be working on is in documents here.
Okay.
So let's go take a look at documents. So when documents opens, here I see on this area of the screen, I see all my documents. Now it's kind of nice to know now that categories exist because these are all the documents on the entire SSRB site.
Yeah.
What we want to do is we want to find the ones for the hearing. So I'm going to pop open public. And this interface is a little odd. Sometimes if you click on something like favorites and then close it again, this box gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's a bug, but there you go. So I'm going to go into the public hearings registry and then into the SR. So I'm going to actually click on this category here. And we didn't see what we wanted to see there. Let's expand, collapse that. There we go. I hope I'm in the right place here.
Yeah, that should be right.
Public hearings, pop that open.
Yeah.
Here we are. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
There we go.
Hearing and guidelines. And then under here I have 2016. And then under 2016 I have my categories. Now these directly relate to these. Notice of hearing, right?
Okay.
Proposal for decision and supporting documentation.
Okay.
Proposal for decision and supporting documentation, etc., etc. So these are the categories of the files here. So if I wanted to find the file final report Indigenous communities, I know it's inside relevant documents. So over here I could go into relevant documents. And lo and behold, somewhere in here I will find that file, whatever we called it.
Mm-hmm.
Final report for Indigenous right here. Okay.
Okay.
So that's all nice. Now, I could have also searched for that using this search box over here.
Okay.
So if I was looking for declining caribou, for example, I could type in declining caribou. And if I press enter, if I type...
I think it's because it's Delaunay caribou.
Oh, did I type that wrong?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
I know. It looks like it should be declining, and it's an operative word right now.
It's a funny thing that I saw that way. So there we go. So that's the file. So I could use this search. I don't have to hunt for it through the categories over here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes maybe it's easier too, because if I'm working on if you're going to work on a bunch of them, again, doing this little trick to get that to expand, it might be easier if I'm going to start with notice of hearing and I'm going to work through the documents there.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just click on notice of hearing and, I guess we don't have a notice of hearing. Do we not have a notice of hearing?
We do have a notice of hearing. It should be in there.
I put the filter over here.
Oh, because you got the search. Okay, yeah.
Need to get rid
that
of
makes more sense.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there we go. So now I see my documents. So how do you add a nice description to these documents? Well, if I click on the title of the document here,
mm-hmm.
it's going to be very easy. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to type in my description right here inside this description box.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you can use HTML or do whatever you want to do, though. Always my recommendation is to keep things nice and clean. Don't put a whole bunch of crazy fonts in there. So if I were to, so which file am I looking at here? Notice of. So if I go back up to the notice, here's the notice. If I click on the details tab here, I will see descriptive text coming soon, which is the text that I have in here.
Okay.
So I'd update my text, and then I click so coming very soon, right? And then if I click save and close,
Okay.
Then I see very soon in there.
Okay.
Okay. And then I got a big download button over here.
Okay.
Okay. So that's all you need to do is so coming back from the very beginning, give a quick synopsis of what you would do to update those descriptions. You're going to come to the left-hand side,
Document Manager.
And then you're already on Documents. If you're not, you'll notice there's a little indent there. It's awfully hard to see, but there's a little indent there that points to the one you're at. And then you can navigate down through the hierarchy. If you don't like the size of that box, you do that little trick and it'll expand it out a bit.
Okay.
And then I navigated all the way down through the hierarchy. Remember, basically it was under public, and then it's under public hearings, and diddly-doo all the way down to notice of hearings. And then there's my files. And then if I want to edit the next batch, I can click on this folder, and I will see the next batch. And then I click on each one of these titles, write my description, and click Save.
Okay.
And then when I'm done that, I can just go over to the topic Joomla and log out.
And
all my changes, as soon as you click Save, all the changes are reflected here when people click on the Details tabs.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
That's pretty straightforward. I can do that.
I think you can do that. I have faith you can do that.
My next question for you is that Deb wanted me to put a little note on the top of this page. Maybe, I think she had talked about mentioning to people that there's a new way to subscribe to when documents are updated.
Right.
So she just wanted me to make a note of that on the page. For people who are already registered users, we have a new way to subscribe. And I'm just wondering, I guess people can re-register and then they'll get both notifications, or?
They'd have to know to unsubscribe from the other notification.
Okay.
So this page here, have you and I looked at this page before? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. Which page are you on? Sorry.
I'm over here, and I'm going to take a look at the Blue Nose East. And I've stopped our screen recording here because this is kind of a one-off thing. So we don't need a screen recording for this. Am I right, or do you like me to keep screen recording for this?
Yeah, maybe screen record anyway.
Why don't I stop the one I've done and save it and we'll create two separate videos so we're not. So here's fingers crossed that causes a stop, and then file.